here's Brody Brazil.
You probably already know the drill. If you've got something to say, it's on your brain, you want to get it off your chest, call me right now, 833-4-BRODY. Your questions, your comments, your contributions to this YouTube channel. I listen to all the calls. I play and respond to the very best ones on future videos.
Brody, this is Jeff from Van Nuys, California. I was wondering if there's any chance that baseball might do away with that awful ghost runner rule in extra innings. I'm not a big fan of it. I think games can end without going to too many innings, just because of the fact that there'll be low leverage relievers. You're pitching after like the 11th or 12th inning. The top relievers will have already been burnt and spent, and the low leverage relievers will be controlling the game, and so games will end naturally. And not go beyond the 12th inning because neither team is using their best pitcher, and the only time that the extra innings are going to go beyond, say, 12 or 13 innings is if, by some miracle, both low-leverage relievers are both getting 1, 2, 3 innings or getting hitters out, which is very rare because they're not the high-leverage relievers that the team normally counts on. So I was wondering what your thoughts on that, if there's any chance the ghost runner will be eliminated from Major League Baseball. Thank you, and I look forward to your video about that. Thanks, right, bye.
All right, Jeff, here is that video. Thank you very much for your call. I just want to say, the difference between high leverage and low leverage relievers, I don't know that every baseball team or general manager or field manager actually views their relievers that way. Yes, there are plus guys. There are other pitchers you put in when you don't have the lead. Bullpens are definitely broken up like that, but in a situation like this, you don't want to burn out anybody. You don't want to burn out your closer. You don't want to burn out your long man. You don't want to burn out anybody because you're probably going to need them the next day, the day after that. And if you're playing a 17-inning game on a Tuesday night and you got to turn around and play a Wednesday day game, and it just complicates the matter so much. I just want to say, Jeff, I don't fully subscribe to the ghost runner, the courtesy runner, the Manfred Man. This is not my favorite thing in the world, but I think it has to be this way. And it came to be in 2020 during the pandemic. They didn't want to have very long games. They already had travel issues. They had a lot going on to try and figure it out and to simplify games, to make sure that they didn't go. Remember the doubleheaders they played? They had 7-inning doubleheaders. Imagine that here in 25 and 2026 and beyond. 7-inning doubleheaders, which, by the way, were not the worst things in the world either, but I digress. So they did this out of necessity in 2020, but they kept the rule from 20 to 22, and then they actually made the rule permanent in 2023. But for those first 2 years, the rule of putting a runner on second to start every extra half inning, it eliminated 420 total extra innings of baseball, or 46.6 total games across the league over 2 seasons, or 2021, 3 seasons. Can't even do math. But that's a pretty extraordinary amount of cutting things down, because here in 2025, how many baseball games have you seen go to, 13 or 14 innings? Oh, here's the facts on that. The longest game of 2024, last season, as I'm recording this, was 12 innings. But 37 games reached 13 or more innings in 2019, the last year of regular baseball, and no ghost runners and no courtesy runners and no Manfred Men. 13 or more innings happened 37 times in that one season alone. And last year, we didn't even see a 13-inning game at all. It's working, right? And nobody minds playing a 10th inning or an 11th inning, maybe even a 12th. But who is really desiring the 15th inning? Who's sticking around for hour 5 of the baseball game, especially if it's an East Coast team that's out west playing a late night game or a weekend game that has just taken too long? You got to finish these games. And it's not just for the fans. I go back to those who are actually playing the game. It's for the bullpens, right? Bullpens get trashed and destroyed in these long games. And now all of a sudden you're playing a 16th or a 17th inning. How many pitchers do you need to actually complete that? And then what do you do for the next couple days after that? It gets messy, it gets difficult, and not to mention, and I know people will say, well, yeah, the game is more interesting if there is a 17th inning, but it's just a regular season game. A playoff game should have a 17th inning. That's great drama. That's great controversy, and that's great emotions. a team's season is on the line, let them play a 17th inning. Let them do it the old school way. But in the regular season, I just don't know if anybody actually needs that or is clamoring for that. And at some point, right? And look, I've covered a 16. Have I covered a 17 inning game? I think I have. You get to the point where you're like, this is a movie that was good and should have ended in the 12th. You know, there are some movies that probably should have been 2 hours and 15 minutes instead of 2 hours and 57 minutes. Such is the case for a baseball game. I think this goes for bullpens and interest levels and ratings and attention spans. It's just a lot more reasonable to do it this way. Again, I wish there was a better way than it's saying, all right, runners on second. Think about what you need to score with a runner on second. Like a bunt and a fly out? Or a ground out and a fly out? And you score a run and maybe that's how you win a game? And how's that reliever supposed to feel? What an uphill battle that was supposed to be. Oh, I just gave up a leadoff double and I'm taking the mound before even throwing a pitch. It's never been fair. I've never liked that way about it. I don't know what else to do. I really don't. If there is a better solution that ends the game in an expeditious fashion, I'd love to hear it, but I don't know if that actually exists. This rule became official in 2023, so they used it for 20, 21, and 22, and it worked. And it cut down a lot of extra innings, and it doesn't get us really ever to a 13th inning. I think it's going to last forever. I don't think baseball is ever going back to regular extra innings the way it used to be. In the regular season, playoffs have always been that way, should always be that way. I'm willing to see a 5-hour playoff game. But a 5-hour game on May 14th between two teams that are, bottom of their division already and have no chance, what is the point? What are we doing here? There's just no real reason for that. So I hope that answer is acceptable. I'm willing to hear somebody out. If you disagree, let me know in the comments section below. How do you feel about this? Is the ghost runner, the courtesy runner, the Manfred Man, is that here to stay forever? I think it is. What do you think? Also, thumbs up while you're down there helps me the video on the channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button too. I would love to see you back here next time.